It will be 6 laps to go when they get the green flag.
This has been an intense race.
There are going to be some guys trying to race side by side through turns 5 and 6.
Green flag back in the air.
They're bumping and banging and grinding, and one car's around. Coming out of turn number 6.
All of that contact between the two leaders is allowed. Oh, the 24 is spinning. The 24's, there's a multiple cars into the wall here. We got more cars coming in.
William Byron is reporting that the curb came up. He hit the curb in the 24.
Numerous cars are destroyed. 2 laps to determine who will be the first ever to win on the road course at Indianapolis.
And there's more calamity on the back straightaway.
Huge jump right there.
Once again, hard on the gas. Across the yard of bricks.
Here's Briscoe to the outside, but he's going to be offline. No, Briscoe's in the grass. Briscoe will come back onto the grass, and now he will be side by side with Denny Hamlin.
He leads him into 7. Briscoe right on his tail. We'll have to see how NASCAR. Stop and go for the 14 car. He is not racing for the win. Oh, he's going to spin Denny. Denny is spun out.
That puts AJ Allmendinger in the lead because Briscoe will have to serve a penalty.
Another chapter written into the Indy history books. AJ Allmendinger will cross the yard of bricks, the winner.
Let's go! Baby, we don't do it the easy way.
And this is unbelievable. I in my wildest dreams could never imagine the way that just played out. Baby, I love you so much, Mom and Dad, all my friends and family. Oh my God, we just wanted Indy.
Welcome to NASCAR America Motormouths. Nate Ryan here with Kyle Petty, Steve Letarte, and obviously a ton happened at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Sunday on the road course. You guys talked a lot about that on Monday. Yep. Anything left to say? I know we got a ton of phone calls. Hopefully we'll get a lot more callers calling in today to ask about it. I mean, what's left to say about Indy at this point?
I don't know.
I guess this is it. I have one. I've given it thought
have?
all week. I think on Monday I was still head spinning about the curbing and the finish.
Yeah.
And on Wednesday I'm kind of past all that.
Yeah.
And I remember the other 90% of the weekend. And I'm excited to go back. I think there needs to be some improvements on some small tweaks here or there.
Yes.
Nothing worth discussing.
Yes.
But if I know Roger Penske and his group at IMS, Doug Bowles, they're going to make the improvements. And I think it's a track worthy of a cup race. That was really the question I wanted to see. And that's what I saw. The fans came out. I'm ready for another one.
It's kind of like we talked about the IndyCar race in Nashville. Great fan participation, great event, great views from the bridge, great this. Yeah, was the race everything you thought it was going to be? Not, probably not. But you go to Indy and you do the same checklist on the Cup side, and it pretty much checks off until you get to the last 6 laps of the race. You know what I mean? Until you get to that point. So I think it was a change in the right direction. I would rather see them run the road course.
Listen, why stop here? I think IndyCar should have been on Sunday with the Cup.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the BC39 at the dirt race should be on Saturday with Xfinity.
That'd be cool.
That's my full tweak of the weekend.
Yeah, I would love
Come in
to see
on Saturday, watch an Xfinity Series race, stay that night, watch the dirt race. You have all the racers there. Come out the next day. I don't care who goes first, flip a coin. You have either IndyCar or Cup, have a little break, and so you could have the 2 premier series of motorsports in the U.S. on the same track, same day. That would be cool.
That is a true doubleheader. Okay?
Yeah, doubleheader,
This
same
one
day.
race on Saturday and one race on Sunday. It's not a doubleheader.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not a doubleheader.
That's a home
You know
field
what I mean?
stand in baseball,
It's not a
doubleheader.
doubleheader. I don't know why we want to present it that way. It's funny how NASCAR presents things that really might be, but could be, but really aren't. But we're going to call it that anyhow. Pass in the grass, doubleheader. I mean, there's so many things that
Not
we have.
really a pass, not really a doubleheader.
Yeah, not really a doubleheader.
There was a pass in the grass, but that was at Riverside.
Yeah, that
Long
was somewhere else.
And to your point, Stevie, the extravaganza concept. I mean, we talked about it in the podcast. It's like a state fair of motorsports, and you've got the dirt track in Indianapolis Motor Speedway this week running this Brian Clausen 39 tribute race. Wednesday 30, they got Chase Elliott, they got Kyle Larson.
Yeah.
I mean, if you move that as a kind of a warm-up to Xfinity and then Cup IndyCar,
all we lack is the Ferris wheel.
Weekend. Yeah, exactly.
All we lack is a Ferris. I mean, really.
Yeah. No,
it was.
We can get one.
From the idea of let's fight for everybody's entertainment money, right? Let's go back to that, right? So let's get all the people that love sports, but they love racing, to pick racing over other sports on a weekend in August.
Yeah.
Job well done. That's what they did, right? Whether you're from Indiana, whether you want to travel in, you know, it's a great town, it's a great facility. It gives you reason to spend money on gas or a plane ticket to come in to watch racing because you get more than one show.
Yeah, listen, I think in this day and time of instant gratification, where everybody wants everything to be the greatest event ever, there's only one Indy 500. Sorry. There's only one Daytona 500. There's only one Masters. Okay, I mean, if we look at events, so why not try to build an event where there's only one, where we come in and you run the dirt race with Clausen, you run the Clausen, you run the Xfinity, you run a true doubleheader. Create an event, create some excitement. And fans would, man, I'd kill for that. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, man, you just go and you would be there the whole time. I'd be corn dogged and
hey, listen, and Yacht Rock Radio was in town too.
That'd be crazy.
So, there you go. And you talked about on Monday's show, Kyle, that you had IndyCar fans exposed to NASCAR.
Yes,
you had NASCAR fans exposed to IndyCar. If you bring dirt fans in who are coming for the BC39 Brian Clausen tribute race and have them kind of get exposed, and again, they're watching Kyle Larson, Ryan Newman, Chase Elliott. There's great crossover potential.
Well, I'm going to go one more. Maybe we kind of, as an industry, owe it to the drivers, too. Because they do their part, right? They fly all over and do all their races. So, like, why don't you be like, hey, Cup guys, we're going to, if you want to run the dirt race, it's right here. You don't have to go anywhere. It's going to be right here. You don't have to run it. You can run it, come over, have a beer, watch. We don't care. But it's like, my point is, it's not just the fan, maybe the industry, because for a long time, I loved my job in NASCAR. What I disliked probably the most is the schedule made it where I couldn't go absorb, I couldn't enjoy anything else.
You can watch
I never could go to the Rolex because it was right against Daytona. I could never go to Le Mans. I could never go to some of these other things. So I know we can't change the schedules, but the more we condense them, I mean, it seemed to be some pure joy out of these race car drivers. Like, people forget, Ryan Hunter-Reay had his kids on the grid on Sunday. Yeah. And you take someone who has done so much in the IndyCar realm, for him to have the ability to deliver to his kids, who think, oh man, these NASCAR drivers are my hero, I love them, right? Well, he knows them all, but what's he supposed to do, come over on a Wednesday? Like, you could see him walking down pit road. Him and Denny stood together. I saw the post on social media, it was the delivery guys, because they both have FedEx and DHL, right? Yeah. But Denny, here's Denny, and he's letting Ryan Hunter-Reay's little boy sit on the door top and check out that, to me, is as important as the fans, because happy drivers make good racing makes happy fans. Like, it all works together.
Yeah, and it works for the fans. I'm a fan. You know, Saturday I got to spend some time with Scott Dixon, and he's still in his driver's suit, and he just got out of the race car. Right. You know what I mean? You get to actually walk up and talk to a driver. Yeah. You know, that you only see on TV.
And not just the driver, the Jimmy Johnson, Richard Petty of IndyCar, six-time champion.
So it's so cool to be able to do that. And the fans that were there on Saturday appreciated that. There were a lot of fans that were there. Not as many as I hoped would be there, but there were a lot of fans that were there that did appreciate it. So I think that was the seed planted of something that can blossom at Indy.
Yeah, well, certainly an unprecedented crossover experience. Sure. And speaking of crossovers, we're going to have a little bit of that on today's show. We've got AJ Allmendinger, BJ McLeod, also Will Power will be joining us on NASCAR America Motormouths, all Collins. But right now, we're going to go to the phones, talk to the fans, and of course, we're going to start with NASCAR. NASCAR, welcome to NASCAR America Motormouths.
All right, this is the official invite. NASCAR is about 49 minutes away from Michigan International Speedway. You guys do a lot for me. I would love for y'all to come see how we NASCAR in turn one. Anybody from Motormouth Nation that watches, come by. Let's kick back a couple engines. And I got some stuff for Mr. Collinsworth, Kyle Petty, and Nate Ryan, but this is the invite, Mr. Letarte. Come and see how we NASCAR at NASCAR country. And Kyle, Newman shakes up the playoffs and wins for me at Michigan.
You had me till right there.
What do you say?
Newman wins at Michigan.
Newman wins.
I mean, everything was making. Okay,
he's a Newman guy. He's a Newman guy.
We were living in reality. Like, going to turn one was a reality, and then we went to Newman.
Listen, we'll make it to turn one before Newman makes it to victory lane at Indy. Okay, so I'm sorry, NASCAR. I love you, man. I love you, and it hurts me to say that. It pains me to say that. But you know what? They went through a stretch. If you look at Roush and you see where they're going with Brad Kay next year, and where I think they've kind of turned the corner a little bit. I think Brad will bring a lot to the table. I really do. If nothing else, he'll bring that drive and that desire to win, and he's going to make you better. He's going to be that Chihuahua. He's just going to yap until you do something, until you move. But I felt like there's been moments this year where you look at him and Buescher and you think, man, they get it. They're back in the game. They're back in the game, but they're not consistent, and that's the one thing where Roush has to finally come back to, is that consistency.
Well, and I wonder what's going to be on board for Newman, right? We have yet to hear that. I'd heard some rumblings about perhaps like a partial schedule was an option at Roush Fenway. It'll be interesting if he takes that. Or, there's a lot of movement in the charter market. So with some of these smaller teams, even if it's not a full-fledged deal, but if Ryan has some partners that love to be associated with Ryan and he wants to go try this new car at 8 or 10 tracks that he likes to drive at just to see what he feels. He's a pretty methodical guy. I think he would like to give it a try to see how it drives. He would be a guy that you could start to fill up a schedule with if you didn't have a full-time driver. Ryan Newman would definitely be one that I would have zero heartburn of putting in for 8 or 10 races.
Okay, so let me throw this at you because I have pondered this question over the last month or so, and then with Kaulig Racing winning at Indianapolis, are we entering a time with 36 charters where we will see teams, aka like the Wood brothers used to be,
multiple drivers
that will sit at home and prepare for certain races and try to cherry pick those certain races, try to put themselves in the best position. I'm not going to run 36 races. I'm just going to run 12.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to run Daytona. I'm going to run this. I'm going to run that. And I'm just going to. And even though we know the purse structure and the way it is, it's better to be in the charter system. It's still a fairly good living when you go and you win these big races that can roll into something else.
Well, if the marketing money makes the bills get paid, 37 are in this weekend. So if you and I had one in the backyard, we could take a car up there and enter the race.
Take a car up there, man. That's it.
I mean, I love the idea. And we did talk to Ryan Newman, by the way, Sunday before qualifying. He says, candidly, he has nothing for next year. And frankly, didn't seem too worried about it because this is a guy who went through a near-death experience at Daytona last year and has a new perspective on life. So I think we're still going to see him in NASCAR next year, but we'll see in what regard. You mentioned Kaulig Racing. Ryan Newman, a former Brickyard winner. We've got another former Brickyard winner, just won at the Brickyard Sunday. We've got AJ Allmendinger joining us on NASCAR America Motormouths next. Welcome back to NASCAR America Motormouths, where we are joined by the winner at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Sunday, AJ Allmendinger. AJ, I'm sure that sounds great to hear. Has it sunk in yet? Because it seemed like even an hour and a half after the race, when I saw you in the media center, you were still processing what had just happened.
Sunday night was cool. It was Matt Kaulig, Chris Rice, and I. We just sat in the bus lot and talked about it. Maybe had some adult beverages, a lot of them, and it was cool. Just like turning around and you could the pagoda was still playing like my face and that we'd won the race. And then we had a fun team lunch today and all that. And you know how the racing is. We're back to business, getting ready for Michigan. But, I mean, these are memories that will never go away. They can never take it away from us. And just so special for sure to win at the Brickyard and all that tradition and be able to kiss the bricks. I mean, truly amazing.
Yeah, I guess what I want to know is, and we all know, you came through the open wheel ranks. Indy is a place, if you are an open wheel driver, it is hallowed ground. It is sacred. And when I talked to you in Victory Lane, I don't believe anything had sunk in at that point in time. And as Nate said, hasn't sunk in yet. But in your career, as you look at everything you've done, could you have ever imagined winning an Indy in a stock car like this?
No, I mean, honestly, and even in the Brickyard 400s, I hadn't had a lot of races that I was really that close in. There was a couple of years there at Richard Petty Motorsports where we had some fast race cars, and I think I qualified up front, like third at one of the Brickyards, but was never really in position to win those races. And that's like Saturday during the Xfinity race, I was like so frustrated and mad at myself for how that race played out and just kind of how it really played from the start of the race on, because I thought maybe that was my best opportunity, our best opportunity to win at the Brickyard was on Saturday. I'd never really imagined that on Sunday, we'd be crossing the finish line in Kaulig Racing's 7th Cup race ever to be winning at the Brickyard. I mean, as I watch the pictures now, like, it's still amazing to me. So all the men and women at Kaulig Racing, for a lot of them, it was their first Cup win, and just what that place means to me. Like I'm a part of history, and Kaulig Racing, we're a part of history together. And as I said, like, that'll never go away.
Well, I think it was a hugely popular win, AJ, and certainly I'm sure you've heard from fans already on social media, and fans, of course, want to talk to you on this show as well. So we'll go to the phones and bring up our first caller here on NASCAR America Motormouths. You're on with AJ Allmendinger.
All right, thank you, Nate. So, AJ, honestly, congratulations, Indianapolis. You were so incredible. So, I've been curious, and I'm pretty sure a lot of fans have been curious. Is there a possibility you're going to go to the Charlotte Roval later in the Cup Series?
Yeah, I mean that's honestly the plan. We're planning on racing the last road course race in the Cup Series at the Roval. You know, it'd be a difficult challenge. I won't be qualifying there, so we'll have to start probably dead last for not racing any races up to that point. So, but that is for sure the plan. At the end of the day, our focus at Kaulig Racing is our 3 Xfinity cars and getting them locked in the playoffs. 2 of them already are, and Justin Haley's looking really good to be locked in the playoffs, and then really focusing on the playoffs and trying to win a championship in the Xfinity Series. But as of right now, the plan is to go to the Roval and race the Cup Series.
All right, so AJ, you're a pretty humble guy. You don't talk a lot about yourself, but I'm going to put you in this awkward position, right? We talk about Larson winning everything. We hear AJ Foyt, Tony Stewart, all these crossover guys. Well, I know the hardcore race fan knows you and your journey. But some of these newer race fans that are hearing your name, I think it's worth pointing out, right? A Rolex win, a kart win, a Cup win now in 2 different companies, Xfinity Series wins, everything you've driven from every different style of race car, you've gone to victory lane. How do you balance that? Like, you seem to just be happy running on Saturdays in the Xfinity Series, just you have a resume of success in everything you've sat in.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, it's one of those things that I've been very fortunate in my life to have a lot of opportunities to drive different types of race cars that team owners and companies and sponsors, they want me to be in their race cars. And, through all the ups and downs, like it's, at the end of the day, it's cool to be able to say I've won 5 Champ Car races and I won a Rolex 24 and won 2 Cup races now and Xfinity races. Like I feel so lucky in life that I've had these opportunities to go win these races and be a part of so many different types of series. It's not anything that I look at like in the future, this has to happen. Like, I'm just so living in the moment now. I spent my whole racing career, as I'm sure, like Kyle Petty could talk about, you're so worried at times, like, okay, gosh, I want to keep a ride. Oh my, am I going to be racing next year? Like, what's going to happen after this race? And sometimes like it's hard. So now I just love living in the moment and having opportunities to drive race cars for Kaulig Racing. And, for however long that lasts for, like, I'm just truly enjoying it. So I love what I've been able to do in my career, and hopefully there's more to come.
Well, your former team owner, Brad Doherty, on the screen right there, he's actually going to be joining us, and Michigan's going to be a blast. All right, so give me the bucket list. You've done all of those things. You have an event, and forget winning, an event you want to take part in. Is it like Rolex, Goodwood? There's so many different things. The Indy 500 again. Do you have an event or a series that you kind of have out there that now you get into this point in your career you love to take a run at?
It'd be awesome to go to Le Mans at some point. That's the thing. If you're running full-time in NASCAR, you really can't do that. So, over the next couple of years, if that's the plan, Le Mans will have to be put on hold. But, Mike Schenck and Meyer Schenck Racing's talked about going back to Le Mans. If that happens, I'd love to be a part of it. It always stood out to me that, my close friend and teammate, Justin Wilson, when he came and we became teammates, I asked him, what's the coolest race he's ever done? Because he had run the Indy 500. He had, run Monaco. He'd seen my races he'd come to the Daytona 500 once. Like, he always said Le Mans, by far, coolest race ever. And that always stuck with me. Like, and then when Mike Schenck, when they went over and ran it a few years ago, he said the same thing. So definitely would be fun to go run Le Mans on a prototype and see what it's all about.
All right, I'm his PR guy. If you get the deal, I'm your PR guy. I'm going with you. We're going to make sure everything's all set.
24 hours of Le Mans is this weekend, AJ, but we'll look forward to seeing you doing that in the future. Right now, you got other things to worry about, running for full-time Xfinity Championship. And we have another caller who wants to ask you about that. I believe Brooklyn on the line to talk to AJ Allmendinger. Go ahead, Brooklyn.
Well, AJ, I just want to start by congratulating you on your win at the Brickyard. That must have been pretty big, and you sure know how to celebrate there. So I had 2 questions. I had one for you, AJ, and then I had one for the NBC guys, so I'll start with AJ. it's obviously the first Cup win for Kaulig Racing. So what did it mean to you to get that win, given the fact that they're going full-time next year? What did it mean to you to get that first win for them?
Yeah, Brooklyn, that's, I've been fortunate now to be on a list that I've gotten 2 companies their first ever Cup win. And that's really special to me because, for a lot of the times, the first one means the most. Like when I was at JTG Doherty, they'd been trying for so long. And at that point, I'd been trying for a long time. So it was special because we were able to do that together. And now here at Kaulig Racing, in only their 7th Cup race ever, it's in a way, it's unexpected. On the road course races, we knew we could run well, but to go out there and win the race, especially to do it at such a historical place like Indianapolis, it's, as I said, it's just memories that will always last. And there's certain memories, certain wins and stuff that just mean so much more than others. And it's to do it at Indy, to do it with Kaulig Racing and Matt Kaulig, Chris Rice, all the men and women from Kaulig Racing, to give me this opportunity. Like, I never imagined in my wildest dreams after 2018, as I became a part of NBC and doing the broadcast, like, this was my path, that we were going to win an Indy. So it's still a little bit in shock, and I'm in awe of it, and just very, very happy to be able to be a small part of Kaulig Racing and go do that.
It's very cool. Brooklyn, you have another question for us?
Yeah, so obviously going into Michigan this weekend, we have a lot of eyes on that playoff picture, most importantly that cutoff line. Now, we already know that the 11 of Denny Hamlin clinched his spot on points, so that leaves only 2 spots, and the biggest thing is that RCR battle. So who do you think gets in and who do you think gets out? Because based on the season that Kevin Harvick's having, do you see him getting into the playoffs? Like, who do you see taking up those final 2 spots?
Let's get everybody's opinion. We'll get AJ as well, but we'll start with you, KP.
Listen, I assume Kevin's going to make it. What is he, 90-some points or something like that?
That would take 2 winners.
I assume Kevin. I think the interesting thing is the intramural competition at Childress, and I keep calling it that because it's those 2 guys fighting for one position. And Dylan matched Reddick last week in stage 1 and in stage 2, and then the crash also. They matched each other. It was just one of those things. It's tough. It's tough to sit at a table, you know what I mean, and tell, I know I'm having to race you, so I'm going to tell you my strategy. You know what I mean? And how do I do that? How do I beat you? So it's going to be tough. I don't know. I think it's going to be whichever, going into Daytona. Daytona is such a wild card, man. Such a wild card that I think this weekend is going to be a big test for both of them.
I got Harvick and Reddick. I don't have, I think anybody could win at Daytona, but we had Kurt Busch, we had Eric Almirola, our man AJ. We had 3 winners that I would say, are longer odds, perhaps a little bit more unlikely. I don't think anyone had them the favorite going in, although AJ has so much experience with the road courses. We still probably all talk Larson and Chase, and So odds would say that I still have Harvick and Reddick, but Daytona's going to be a pressure cooker for sure.
Yeah, no question. All right, AJ, we'll put you back on the spot and put you back in the NBC Sports analyst role here for a minute. Who do you like?
Yeah, I agree. Kevin's probably going to make it. I'd be shocked if we get a surprise winner at Michigan, but at Daytona, we've seen it many a times. Anything can happen. If it's straight up on points, I think it's Kevin and Tyler, if that's what it comes down to. But that Daytona race, there's going to be a lot of guys holding their breath, especially right on the cutoff there. Harvick probably locks himself in this week, and then it's game on at Daytona. But if it happens on points, I think it's definitely Kevin Harvick and Tyler Reddick.
Yeah. I might agree with that, but Dylan's won at Daytona, so I'm going to have to throw in a little bit of twist right there, too. So anyhow, so here's one last question. I look at Kaulig Racing. I look at how methodically they have built an Xfinity program and how methodically they have come into the Cup Series. And they have a plan, and they don't get out over the tips of their skis. They have a plan, and they work that plan. 7 races, you've had, 4 or 5 top 10s, a couple of top 5s, whatever, and a win. What are the expectations internally that you know of going into next year, man. I mean, they have set the bar incredibly high for a new team.
Well, Chris Rice and I have tried to tell Matt Kaulig, like, this doesn't happen every day, man. Like, you know, we're picking the races we think we can be really good at. We're trying to get him established that, hey, like, you go to Pocono and you finish 15th, that's going to be happy about that. Like, you know, those are days as a rookie team that, you know, you're just trying to run top 15s. I mean, those are great days at a lot of places. So, you know, internally, I don't know if we've really set any goals for old, you know, my son, Justin Haley right now. I mean, he's going to be a true rookie when it really comes to you know, I feel like being at a ride that's really capable of at least running kind of consistent mid-pack and hopefully up front when we get the car right. But yeah, to me, you just got to look at trying to be top 20 in points. Like, run.
Let me tell you, you've done a really crappy job. If you're trying to set the expectation low, you and Chris Rice are doing a really crappy job of showing your owner, Matt Kaulig, how it's not supposed to work. Hey, welcome to the Xfinity Series. Let's win. Let's go cup racing. Let's win. Yeah. Let's win. Good luck with that. I'll let you, should be great about race 6. Let me know how that's going.
Yes.
True. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Justin. I tried, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. Congratulations, man.
No need to apologize, man. Thanks for joining us, AJ. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
So listen, I pick on him, but I think Matt Kaulig knows. I've met him a few times, and he knows. And you don't want that to dampen what he is experiencing over the last few years. But his commitment, both time, energy, effort, and financial, it's all there. And you said it right. It's methodical, which I think is the key. You know, we've seen other teams come in, but I can't remember a team that took this patient of an approach.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many years Kaulig's been racing, but it's
Rick Hendrick did.
2015?
Rick Hendrick did back in the 80s.
And that worked out pretty good.
And that worked out pretty good. But he did. He basically did. He had a plan, and he worked his plan. And that's the way it was. He's the last guy I remember who's worked this way.
It's methodical, but yet at the same time, there was a blitzkrieg to get those 2 charters, which caught a lot of people by surprise and off guard. So I give them credit where, on one hand, they're building slowly, and I think they are being patient. But on the other hand, it seems like when Matt Kaulig decides to do something, like, I want to race Cup, I'm going to get 2 charters and go.
Well, I think the difference is they're patient by planning, not by financial means. Like, they're not patient because they have to be.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Is some teams, if Kyle and I start a team, we're going to be pretty patient because we lack the funding to just go ahead and buy 2 charters.
That's right.
But Matt Kaulig, I believe, day one had the paper in the bank account to just go as crazy as he wanted to go, which I think makes it more impressive, right?
Yeah.
Is that,
it does.
That he could have just bought his way in, but he's like, nah, I want to see if I can do this. I want to find a Chris Rice. And then I hear what Chris Rice is saying, but I'm going to give him a little bit more rope every year and see if he can run an organization the way I expect it to be run. Can he keep my financial partners up in the Northeast happy, my CPAs, my CFOs, you know, the stuff that isn't great to talk about on the show, but you know from owning a race team, if the CFO ain't happy, you're not going to be in business long.
Exactly.
So, like, those things that we don't talk about, the business of racing, they've done a really nice job.
Well, they have done a nice job. And they've done a nice job, just as AJ said, of picking races they knew they could have success in and presenting themselves in the best light. They didn't go somewhere where they were like, we're going to go there and run 25th. You know, we need to go learn. No, we don't need to go learn. We need to go run the best we can. And that's the position that they've taken and the strategy they've taken. And look, when you look at those numbers in 7 races, I put their first 7 Cup races up against just about anybody's first 7 Cup races that's ever started a team. You know, that's ever started a team, because it is impressive.
Whenever Crystal Ball told them, you need a veteran driver, well, let's go get AJ Allmendinger because there's going to be an expansion for road courses in the Cup Series. Whatever plan they saw coming together, they should continue down that one because it was a great move.
For sure.
And clearly an up-and-coming team. We're going to see them in the Cup Series next year. And on the other side of this break, we'll be talking to another new team owner in the Cup Series. BJ McLeod of Live Fast Racing Motorsports will be joining us on NASCAR America. We have another guest lined up here. We're joined by BJ McLeod of Live Fast Motorsports. And BJ, you're a burgeoning team owner in the NASCAR Series, both Cup and Xfinity. You've fielded cars in all the series. Give us a little bit of a background on who you are, where you came from, because I don't know if a lot of fans probably watching are fully up to speed on your full story.
I'll try to give you a 34-year version in a couple of seconds. So first of all, thanks for having me on. We, definitely parents started me out racing before I can remember. Grew up racing in Central Florida, went to stock cars at 13, went to NASCAR at 26, won a whole lot of races in between stock car, super late models and NASCAR, but haven't won any since I got to NASCAR. So definitely been a long road, but we, definitely like the team owner side. Got into that in 2010 when I was 26 and started a truck team and just kept working and built it up from doing a part-time truck deal to now, owning part of a cup team. So it's been an awesome journey and a lot of fun stuff along the way.
Okay, I want to go back to your thing. And as you talk, you grew up racing and you grew up winning. And you grew up winning everywhere you were. Then you get to NASCAR and it's a different game. How hard has it been to make that adjustment and to understand that part as a driver? As an owner, I know you understand that part of it. But as a driver, how hard is it to take that step back and say, man, this is a tough one to take a little bit?
Being somebody that has always wanted to win, no matter what I was doing, it's been extremely difficult to accept that side. I had 300 go-kart wins, over 100 super late model wins, around 22 championships. And then I get to NASCAR and my best finish, I think to date, is 11th. I think that's actually the best I've done. And it's hard to accept it, but I just am that kind of person that always want to push and be better and work harder and just try to reach things that I'm not supposed to reach. And, being here and not winning is tough, but I still believe that I can win an Xfinity race one day. And you never know in a cup car at a speedway, man. We've seen everything happen at those places. So, I'm just going to work hard as a driver and see if I can't make something cool happen before I have to retire. And just, I guess the part that keeps me going is no matter what I'm driving every week, I just try to make it 3 or 5 spots better than I feel like it is, vehicle wise. And I feel like if I've done that, the people of the sport, everybody that's paved the way for all of us to be here, they know. You guys have all drove. You know what it takes to be successful. And if you're in a car that can win, or if you're in a car that can run 25th, it's still how much effort the driver puts in to be the best that he can be for the team that he's working for. So that's the part that I've always, took pride in and tried to make the most of what I had situational wise.
BJ, I think it was maybe a couple years ago. It was definitely a couple years ago because pre-pandemic, you and I got to spend some time on a flight sitting next to one another. It was fascinating to get to know you a little bit better, understand your background. Tell me, I want to talk about this balance. First of all, as an owner, I see you show up at a super late model track with Eric Jones in the car, right? At what point do you have enough NASCAR, because I do understand the financial battle, and you say, enough is enough, let's go race for a trophy. Is that just what that is? Is that you saying, you know what, I need a little winning back in my blood. Let's go somewhere where I know we have the equipment that can go to victory lane.
That's absolutely it. We, like I said, haven't been able to win a race as an owner or a driver in 10 years. And it's, we had the chance to put that deal together with Travis Braden at the end of last year. And I was like, first race, we're getting a cup driver that loves racing and we're going to go try to win. And Travis said, you are a cup driver. And I said, I want to take, somebody that I've enjoyed working with. And I worked with Eric 10 years ago at New Smyrna Speedway. So it was, just a fun deal to take him down there and give him a shot to win down there. And we definitely didn't the first night. We were off, chassis wise and best we were going to run was around 5th. But second night we had a shot. We just got too far back track position wise and didn't get any cautions. So it was definitely what that was about, was trying to go get some trophies, because we, where Matt Tifft and I are with Live Fast and the Cup team, and where my wife and I are with, BGMM and Xfinity Series, we still have years to the winner's circle. I mean, it's, I don't sugarcoat that. I know it's reality, and I want to win some races. So super late model wise, don't get me wrong, it's some of the toughest races in the country. I don't believe it's any easier to win one of those races than it is a cup race, but it's easier for me to attain the right equipment to be able to race up front at that level. And that's why we've definitely circled back and started back to what got me where I'm at and what I truly enjoy too.
So it's funny because I'm going to take that answer and move it forward. It amazes me. It's quite remarkable how you can stay so true to your plan. And the reason I say that is I'm confident that you raise a tremendous amount of finances to run the full Xfinity Series and to run Cup. We all know how much money that takes. You could perhaps bundle that up and go try to cherry pick and pick a Gibbs car, a JRM car, or somebody with 1 or 2 races open, which we have seen, right? We have seen Ryan Preece and other guys try to do that. But yet you don't. You stick to the plan that you, your wife, your business partners have laid out. That has to take a tremendous amount of kind of stubbornness and belief in what you're doing, because I'm with you. At some point you'd want to go try another thing, but you don't. You stick to the plan you've laid out.
Yeah, I'm just that guy. I'll be here as long as I got a heartbeat trying to get more successful. And it's definitely not against that scenario. I was proud of Ryan when he did that, and Ross Chastain, and there's a couple more of them. And I definitely like that path. And one day I may still do that. I'm not taking that off the table, but I just wanted to take every bit of financial backing that I had right now to build my team as an owner with my wife and with Matt, and try to make our stuff successful. And if I start to run out of time, you might see me do something like that to try to get a victory before I have to retire. But it's definitely not something I'm thinking about right now. I want to push and see what we can pull off as the driver owner. It'd be cool to win in my own car.
Now, I will say, stubborn from a guy from Maine is a compliment.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at me crazy. That's a compliment for me if you're stubborn. That's how I consider myself.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So, I have this conversation with my dad all the time about Richard Petty Motorsports. If you take 4 Gibbs cars and 4 Hendrick cars, the next thing you know, it's a huge accomplishment to run 22nd or 23rd. And for the rest of the cars out there. You talk about your best finish has been 11th. Don't belittle that 11th, man. Everybody had a shot when they threw the green flag, and that's the way it is. That's tough. For you guys, on any given Saturday or any given Sunday, what is a solid run for you guys? What do you leave the racetrack saying? As you said a minute ago, and it was well said, the best I do is try to make this car 4 or 5 positions better than what I believe it is. And people in the industry do see that. What is a good Saturday or Sunday for you guys?
Well, I appreciate you saying all that, Kyle. And it right now, Matt and I, when we started the Cup deal, we said top 30s, and it's crazy that we started this deal and we went on this journey, and it's all wild, right? Like you guys know, you've been here watching and talked to me, and it's we've definitely. If you asked me in November, I'd be really happy with 5 to 10 top 30s and just be around there. Some things happen. You get 31st, 32nd is what it is, but. I think we've got 13 top 30s now, something like that. And I'm just very thankful that we've been able to get started on the path that we're on. And I know top 30 is not what most people think of when they watch the sport, but to what you said, there's cars that race 20th every now and then that can win before the end of the year. That's how tough this sport is. And, right now a win for us is a top 30. And, Matt and I want to really speed up and get to that 25th mark very quick. Is what we're trying to pull off for we're hoping maybe next year. And once we get there, it'll be a little bit of a hard road to get to the top 20. But I believe once you get to the top 20, the right scenario happens and you can win a race. I mean, you just need things to play out your way, because you see it all the time with strategy and different things that go on in this sport and how competitive the Cup Series is. So right now, that's the initial goal, and that's what we consider a victory.
Well, speaking of results, BJ, you got a 10th in your BJ McLeod Motorsports car in the Xfinity race this past Saturday at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Andy Lally driving that car finishes 10th. What did that mean to you? I mean, I know it's not Live Fast Motorsports, it's not Cup, but still an accomplishment certainly to have one of your cars finish top 10 in Xfinity.
Well, it's huge. It's really big for me because of my guys. My guys on the Xfinity side have worked the job of 2 or 3 people each. They've done so much over the last 5-6 years that it's just they show as much determination as I have to be able to still be going here. And for them to get a top 10, that is a win for us. That's our first top 10 on the road course. We've had a couple on other tracks, and we cherish them because they're hard to come by. I mean, it's just we had to take a slow road building our programs because of the financial backing I had to start with, and I'm fine with that. And when you get these glimpses of what you're headed for and what you've been working for. Like, Andy got us on Saturday. It's a huge relief and a big, it just moves the momentum your way to help all your people re-energize and start moving towards trying to be more consistent at that.
All right, well, man, listen, you're good about answering our questions. How about a little self-promotion, right? I know you have a lot of partners. If somebody out there wants to jump on board, you have a website. What's the best way to go out and support you and your different race teams?
Just check out all our social media platforms, and we appreciate all our partners. And we got King Parts on the car this weekend at Michigan. I'm excited. I love driving for those guys, and just appreciate all the help we've had and all the help we might get. And thanks for all the support from you guys, like you guys getting us on here and sharing our story and different things like that. We really appreciate it. So thanks for that, and thanks for the conversations off TV too. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, we
Thank
appreciate you joining us and telling your story. Thanks for being here, BJ, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Thank you, guys.
So here you go. You want to know what it's like? If you take Hendrick, Full Penske, Gibbs, SHR, 2311, Chip Ganassi, RCR Trackhouse, and JTG, I consider them all fully funded.
Yeah.
That's 24 cars.
24 cars.
So when somebody says, oh, I'm going to go run top 25, well, what fully funded car are you going to outrun?
Yeah,
because remember, I didn't put Roush Fenway on there, so I could get you to 25, 26.
That's right.
Like when he says
And
top
that's the
30s, right, for him to run top 30, you are running on the heels of these guys. If you start running top 27, you're racing against guys with multiplier of your budget. Not double. I'm talking 3, 4, 5, 6 times the budget he's racing on.
Yeah, and that is the part that is so hard for fans to wrap their heads around. They see 2 football teams playing, and they know both football teams are playing to win this game. And that's the way it is. When you watch racing, there's different business models, and there's different people are looking for different goals. We talk Kaulig Racing. They're building something. We just talked to BJ. He's trying to build something, and they're building them at different paces. Just if we drive down the street here and we see 6 businesses open up, they're gonna flourish and build at different paces. It is fascinating to me that we have a sport where BJ McLeod and what's the name of it?
Live Fast Motorsports.
Live Fast Motorsports can compete on the same field.
Yeah.
With Rick Hendrick and Kyle Larson, can compete on the same field with Joe Gibbs and Denny Hamlin. That says a lot for the sport. I don't care what anybody says. The opportunity to drag a car to the racetrack, no matter how much people want to slam charters and slam the way the sport is, there's still that open door to come in and have an opportunity to race.
I feel he's the lifeblood of the Xfinity Series, teams like him.
Yes.
It's great that Gibbs is there, and it's great, Junior Motorsports is there. I don't want to knock those full efforts because that's what the fans cheer for. But, if you only brought those, you're seeing like 12 or 13 cars. It's not a great race.
Yeah.
But to see him, like Stephen Parsons, I'm good friends with Phil.
Yeah.
I see the opportunity that Stephen has to get in and drive his car. And what I love about BJ is he knows where that car should run.
That's right.
So when Stephen comes in and runs, wherever it may be, 17th, pick a number, right? He'll tell him, man, great job, because we were missing that set of tires. We put stuff, so he gets it.
Listen.
So not only is he building, but he still evaluates. Don't think he just says, oh, it was a good day. No, he has real metrics he's evaluating.
There's nothing better, and we've all seen it, and you've seen it too. Then walking down through the garage area after an Xfinity race or something, and this guy's happy because he won, and this guy's mad because he runs second, and this guy's mad because he was in a wreck. And then you get all the way down here, and these guys are celebrating
There's a curve.
Like they just won the Daytona 500, and it's like, how does that work?
10th.
But it's just where they are. Just where they are.
Yeah, well, it's a great story, and I'm glad we got to go outside the norm
that
a
was
little bit.
Good.
Find out that story in NASCAR. We'll go outside NASCAR for our next story. Bring on Will Power, the most recent IndyCar winner, next after the break.
There's nobody better on this track in an IndyCar. Will Power wins.
Hey, man, way to go. Finally.
Today he's going to win at the historic Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Cindric gets the win.
Very impressed.
It was a big Saturday for Team Penske at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, partially because of this man joining us now. Will Power breaks through, wins his first IndyCar race in more than 10 months. Will, I know we talked to you after the race, what a relief it was. How does it feel a few days later to have that sink in, that first win of 2021?
Yeah, I mean, it is a huge relief for me. Obviously, it's a very, very, very competitive season this year, and as you know, there's been 9 different winners from 12 races, so no one's really stood out massively as far as race wins. But it was just awesome to get a race win this year, and get a race win in the 5G car, which I hadn't done before. So yeah, obviously come down off the high, but just really these days, if you get a win in IndyCar, it just feels bloody awesome.
Hey, Will, so Steve Letarte, I was there. I got to see it. First of all, the doubleheader weekend was spectacular because some NASCAR guys like ourselves got to see you guys, not just on television, but firsthand at the racetrack. I guess my question to you is, I think I understand on the Cup side kind of what makes, you know, a driver fit a certain track. But you and this Indy road course, it's unbelievable. I mean, your numbers are outstanding. It can't be the car. Right? Is there something about the track, the lines, you just have confidence there? What do you think it is about you and that road course that just seem to mesh?
Yeah, it's quite a technical track, and I guess you could say a high grip track, but and you can run the car very, very free. It's certainly a driving style that I like. You know, I like the car. I don't like any push at all. But yeah, that's really, I guess, man, some tracks just click with people. Some tracks, and you can't put your finger on why, but I have to work at it. Like, I struggled in May at that track, and I came back and was really competitive again. So, you know, I did a lot of homework before that race, and had a look at why I struggled, and came and made those improvements. So I'm trying to say it doesn't always suit me. I have to put the work in to do it. But yeah, certainly had a lot of good results there, a lot of strong results.
Well, the work's paying off. And if you don't like any push, you're not a stock car guy. Stay in. Don't let Team Penske talk you into that full body car if you don't like that thing to be just a little tight. Because those things just are tight.
Yeah. So here's my thing. I've loved the IndyCar season this year. I've loved to watch it. But you talk about 9 different winners. We go to the Cup side. We have had 14 different winners. What in God's name is going on in motorsports this year? Kevin Harvick hadn't won yet. You hadn't won yet until we got to this point. Denny Hamlin hadn't won yet. Is it just a change of the guard in IndyCar racing and motorsports in general as we look at it?
Well, I would say in IndyCar, it's definitely all these young guys coming in. Also the parity between the cars, and also the teams. All the teams seem to be running at a very high level now. You know, before you had Penske and Ganassi were standouts, and Andretti, but now, you know, really any team in the pit lane can win. And when you've had the same car for a long time as well, everyone works out all the little details that matter to make that car fast. So I think it's all those things added together that has created that. I mean, I don't know about NASCAR, but I'm sure that, you know, all the teams know all the little tricks and everything you need to do to make those cars win as well, and that's why there's so many different winners.
Well, I don't want to put the pressure on you here, Will, but I see over your left shoulder there you've got a trophy that looks an awful lot like the Gateway Arch. And I know that Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN, you guys are headed to Worldwide Technology Raceway, formerly known as Gateway, near St. Louis. Your teammate Joseph Newgarden won there a year ago. It seems like Team Penske is out of its slump a little bit the last couple of weeks. How do you like your chances heading into Gateway this Saturday?
Pretty good. You know, as far as being competitive, I mean, winning's one thing. Yeah, being competitive and winning's another thing. But I led a lot of laps there last year. Got, you know, just that track's all about the pit stop sequences. It's very difficult to pass, so track position means a lot. And you know, it's going to come down to the strategist calling that perfect time to pit, where you're not getting held up by someone on your in lap and you're not getting held up by someone on your out lap. So it's and you know, who knows when a yellow falls and all that sort of thing. But I think as far as being fast and competitive, I feel like we'll be pretty good. Although these days you cannot predict where you may struggle, because you could be winning 1 week or 1 year at a track and then come back and be 20th the next year. So it's you got to be on your toes. Not much track time, and you got to be very efficient with your changes and know the direction you got to go with the car setup.
Listen, as we're talking to you, we've got some graphics, some things on the bottom of the screen there, and it just reminded me. You passed Allmendinger Sr. Wins. How big is that a moment? I mean, an icon of the sport. I mean, over here it's Pearson and Petty and Earnhardt and guys like that, and we watched Jimmy Johnson climb through them. We watched Jeff Gordon climb up through those guys. How important is that to you as a driver?
It is important. Like, it's just amazing. I would never have dreamed of seeing my name amongst names like Allmendinger Sr. or Michael Andretti, people like this, or Mario Andretti and AJ Foyt in the pole, in number of poles. So, anyone who says they don't look at it, you do. You are aware of where you stand. For me, anyway, and it's just really something that's just unbelievable. It's a real, I feel like an amazing accomplishment to be up there with names like that, because these guys were my absolute heroes as a kid. And like I said, I never, when I came to the US, I never would have dreamed that I'd have 40 wins in IndyCar. It just blows my mind that happened. But, I can only thank the team that I drive for. I mean, Roger gave me that chance, and it's really just, I've had a fantastic career for that reason. I'm given a car week in, week out that has a chance to win.
Hey, Will, I just want to let you know, first of all, thanks for coming on. Not a question, but a statement. I was able to go to the Indy 500 for the first time this year for both qualifying and the race. And I'm going to tell you, I've been in racing for my entire life, all 42 years. And that lap you put together, when it was all on the line for the Indianapolis 500, is perhaps the most pressure-packed, clutch moment racing or driving I have seen ever. So I'm thankful it worked out. I'm glad you're in the show. But I wanted to tip my hat to you to say, I know what was on the line there. Unbelievable work, and it was awesome to watch.
Yeah, that was it's exactly how you described it. It was so nerve-wracking for me because you have to trim some. You have to trim probably more. You're not sure. How much do I have to take off this car to make it through? And I took a little bit too much off, and I was hanging on that last lap, man. I couldn't get wheel into the car. I was so loose. So when I turned into turn 2, I couldn't commit to turn a little bit over the tire. So, I started floating wide and sliding out to the wall, but I couldn't lift. It was over if I lifted. It was nuts that I hit that. Like, as hard as I hit that, I felt that. And I'm like, the worst thing was having to go into turn 3 and 4 wide open. That was, to me, the toughest thing about that. I was just like, as I turned into 3, I just held my breath and just hoped that it hadn't broken a tie rod or something breaks. But that was the most pressure I've ever had.
It was unreal.
Thanks
for calling in, man. Congratulations.
Wonderful performance, and thanks again for joining us. Well, we appreciate it, man.
Excellent. Thank you for having me on. Appreciate it.
For the fans that haven't seen it, YouTube it. It's unbelievable.
It is. It was an incredible moment. All right, really quick. Michigan picks. Who we got?
Larson. Simple. Easy.
Alex Bowman.
Larson. I'll be boring.
I'm going Alex Bowman. Come on,
Hendrick
people.
all the way around.
Yeah, Hendrick
That's
all
all
the
we
way around.
got. Thanks for watching NASCAR America Motormouths.